A familiar van, a ghostly doppelganger, or an encounter with one's namesake from another life. All these moments speak of a world where the lines between past, present, and possibility converge into obscurity. In these fleeting instants, we are reminded that the universe might just be a tapestry of infinite threads, where the memory of a loved one, the apparition of oneself, or the meeting of a mirrored soul can cross paths in the most unexpected of ways, leaving us to ponder the mysteries that weave through our existence. We'll see you on the inside. That's beside the point. Folks, welcome back to Sleep with the Lights On. So glad you could join us yet again here in our humble studio as we dive into some what I believe to be doppelganger stories, amongst other things. Some very interesting tales in this month's episode, and I think you're going to enjoy them. Christian, how are you doing?
I am wonderful on this sunny day.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, haha. Insider stuff there. Don't need to worry about that. And it's probably raining, but it's fine.
True.
It's fine. I feel like you're always wonderful when you sit down. It's okay to be real with our audience every now and then.
I try to stay in that place as much as possible. There's the world will get you down if you let it.
And we do, turns out. We do, very often. It's fine, honestly. While I have you here, folks, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We drop these once a month, as well as a few other different shows we got in the works and have been releasing for a few months at this point. Hopefully you're enjoying those. But we try to keep it a little interesting and do some stuff that's a little different than the podcast, which, if you don't listen, is available every single Thursday, wherever you get your podcatchers. So be sure to check that. I've probably placed a beautiful graphic somewhere in this area. Ah, yeah, look at that. Look at that bad boy. That's nice. That's good stuff. Anyway, follow us on social media at Freaky Deaky Pod if you want to connect. Join the Facebook group, also at Freaky Deaky Pod, and you can talk to us there. It's a fun time. In the meantime, let's get in this first story, which is called The VW Van.
Slug bug.
Van.
Close enough.
Not beetle, but it's all right.
You gotta take what you get anymore. There's not as many on the road.
That is true. Well, the electric ones came out a while ago, the IDs or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They look pretty sleek. I remember when they were kind of teasing it, I looked at them like, damn, I wouldn't mind having one of those. Put the freaky deaky stuff, like the old mystery machine on it. That would be
pretty cool.
Pretty sweet. When the money comes in, hopefully we can make that happen.
If I win the lottery, we'll have to get us a freaky deaky vehicle.
Could do mobile podcasting. Why not? Just drive out in the woods somewhere, wait for Sasquatch to come a knocking.
I don't know if the editor will like that.
He won't have to edit anything. It'll just be recording and then be like, the end. See ya.
Oh, that makes sense.
And people are like, oh, I didn't realize they messed up so many times. Like, yeah, that's the unfortunate truth of this production game, but it's fine. Anyway, it's by Edge Llama. Okay. It says, my partner who passed away in 2020 had a VW van.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. He decorated it with stickers on the side windows. Last year, I was driving through my village, and at some point, I looked in the rearview mirror to see a van that looked just like his following behind me. It caught my attention because the van had been sold to a family who lived 4 hours away. I slowed down for the van to catch up to me so I could get a better look. My heart dropped when I noticed the driver looked exactly like my past partner. Not only that, the passenger looked exactly like me. We finally came to a crossroads where I turned left and they went straight on. I could see the same stickers as they drove over. I absolutely freaked out and pulled my car over to calm down. That's kind of wild. I mean, I get number one, how many VW vans do you see on the road anymore?
Not many.
Surprisingly, I saw 2 Cybertrucks on the drive home today.
Did you?
I saw one. I passed one. It was black.
Oh, you've seen the black one. I've heard about that one.
Yeah, there's 2 of them apparently, because as I was going further down the highway, one was coming this way, and it was black as well. I'm like, I've never seen a Cybertruck out here, and then in like the span of 20 minutes, I saw 2.
Yeah.
It's a takeover. They actually don't look too terrible. The black ones look kind of nice.
I heard the black ones look nice. I'm not impressed with the others.
Yeah, it's a little cyberpunky, but that's fine. Beside the point, VW vans, not very common. The odds that you'd see one, not just see one, but see one that was driven by someone that looked like your old partner and the passenger looked like you, and it had the same stickers on. I mean, I don't even know how to explain that. That's just some next level.
Would you pull over to collect yourself, or would you do what we always ask people to do and follow
that van?
Yeah.
You have to. At that point, you let it get ahead of you, and then you just follow it. You're like, no, I'm not turning. I don't care where I was headed. Life or death situation. I'm following that van.
Right. You have to. That's for the pod.
True. For the pod.
I don't understand why people just freeze in those situations.
It would be a little shocking.
It would be.
But I just hyperventilate while I'm driving. You can multitask.
Yeah. Know? And maybe it wouldn't be as much for me because I'd be like, what the hell's going on? You'd
just be like, weird.
No, I would follow it.
Yeah.
I would have to, but I would, because I feel like everybody else lets us down.
You got to have those answers. It probably just like dissipates into thin air or something like that as you're behind it. Like, damn it.
Which is a fair answer, right? And would be good for the podcast. If I was following something and it dissipated, I would have to admit that it dissipated.
The irony, though, is that I'm like, I don't know if I believe you, Christian, and then just move right along.
I know you probably wouldn't.
But
probably
here we go.
But I wouldn't lie about stuff like that.
Well, either would I, but we find ourselves in this situation all the time,
I have never found a doppelganger VW.
Well, yeah.
Yet.
There's time yet.
What do you think happened?
Doppelganger.
That's a weird one.
I guess, they didn't mention where it was at or anything like that, but...
Village was an interesting term that they used.
Village?
Yeah, they used in their village.
That is an interesting term. I didn't even catch that.
Would work up here in Alaska because
sure,
we have places like we call villages, but
very true.
I just tend to think this might be in another country.
I don't know. What about you guys? See any doppelganger cars on the road? Like, yeah, I see my make and model all the time. That's not what I mean, and you know it. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and get into the second story called The Curious Classmate, and it's by J. Blue Heaven. I think there's something wrong with these headphones because I'm always readjusting this mic. Like that one I'll readjust until I find a sweet spot, but this one, it's like I'm like, it sounds echoey, it sounds hollow, and people at home are like, it sounds fine.
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah, so maybe I just need some new cans. Need to get some new cans.
Those are expensive.
They are pretty expensive, it turns out.
Surgery, man. You'll look kind of weird. You'll be a little top heavy if you get some new cans.
Well, let's be honest. I'm a little top heavy now, but that's fine. Comes with this rockin' dad bod, and that's cool.
That's what the chicks love these days, according to the internet.
I wouldn't know. I've been one-woman guy for quite some time now. Says, it was during my second year at a paramedical course. I got to school at 8 in the morning to do some last-minute cramming reviews for an exam. Some of my other classmates had been there since 6:30, also to review. I had just settled down at a table in a student's study area when one classmate plopped down in front of me. She had a confused look on her face. She asked me who I was waiting for by the parking lot earlier. I stared at her blankly for a few moments and replied that I had just gotten here. Her eyes went wide and she started vigorously rubbing her arms. I saw that the hairs on her arm were prominently standing.
He's checking her out, huh? In a way that...
What's going on with these arm hairs, lady, huh?
Yeah, those are sexy.
Oh, yeah. She started to frantically explain that she was studying on a bench overlooking the parking lot driveway, and she saw me standing to one side, a few yards away, arms crossed like I was waiting for someone. She had waved and called out a greeting, but I seemed not to hear her. She looked away for a moment, and when she looked back, I was gone. She was very confused because if I had walked in any direction from where she saw me, she would have been able to see me walking away. I asked her if she was sure it was me, and she said she could not have been mistaken. Who or whatever she saw was carrying the exact same bag I was using that day. By the time she had finished telling her story, 2 other classmates had joined us and were teasing her about not having enough sleep as it was exam week. She swore up and down that she wasn't lying, and she was telling everyone the story all day. Some people asked me about it as well, and I just told them I arrived at 8. That seems like some, like horror movie stuff where they see someone standing on the opposite side of the road and a bus drives by and they're gone. That's like exactly what I think of when I hear that story. I'm like, classic stuff. Classic. That's kind of weird, though. Are you projecting your, I don't know. What are you doing? What
if you could, it's a form of, astral projection that just happens during the day. If you could do it at any time, you could do it conceivably while you're awake and walking around.
Yeah. Well, there is that. Like if you're daydreaming or something like that, you're just sitting at your desk or whatever and you're thinking about being somewhere else.
What if you're that? Yeah, when you
What
think
if you're
about
actually there? Someone
Yeah.
sees you there.
more support of living in a simulation, maybe.
Interesting you mentioned that. Glitch in the Matrix stories.
Yeah.
I think I might have a Glitch in the Matrix story in next month's episode of Sleep with the Lights On, actually. I might have a couple of those.
Those are always fun.
They are fun. I thought, I was like, it's been a long time since we've touched on that. We've really only, over the course of this podcast, we've really only talked about Glitch in the Matrix stuff like twice or 3 times. And we're going on like year 5 at this point. So it felt a little necessary to bring it into the Sleep with the Lights On gang. It's time.
It is time. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if we do live in a simulation, it does bring about a lot of questions.
Too many.
What's the purpose? And are we real somewhere? Or is it you and I
a Matrix situation where we wake up in some sludge and some weird robot bugs are shoving things into the back of our neck to feed us or whatever.
I have plug me back in.
Yeah, this is a lot worse than what the simulation was. Can I just go back?
Yeah, it makes you understand the one guy that just wanted a nice steak when he sold out at Neo's crew.
Hell yeah. I know it's fake.
Like the world we're living in.
Just like the world we're living in. You hear that?
It ain't real.
Okay. Well, that he is actually surprisingly correct to an extent. We'll deal on that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more on any of our Glitch in the Matrix episodes because it needs a more in-depth conversation than we can do here.
Or maybe in a weird act of time travel, we've already discussed this exact moment in a Glitch of the Matrix episode that already came out.
Maybe we're not even here right now.
Anyway, here we are to read this third story, which we haven't just finished reading to look up and notice that the audio is not recording for some reason. That didn't happen. This is the first time we're hearing this story, and it's fine.
The very first time.
The very first time. Well, second for me, because I put this together. Anyway, this third and final story that we are hearing for the first time is called Toss a Coin to Your Brother.
I thought it was The Witcher.
There you go. We're just going to repeat everything we said previously and try to put on our acting faces. You guys know the ones. They look like this. Anyway, it's by Worst Smell Imaginable. And it goes a little something like this. About 8 years ago, when I was 18 and still in the first year of my vagabond hobo journey, I left New Orleans, or Nolans for those locals out there, apologies.
Dude, deja vu.
I meant no disrespect. Anyway, at the end of Mardi Gras, bound for the St. Patrick's Day celebration in Savannah, Georgia, while hitchhiking. The kid teaching me the ropes of the road and I made it there a few days early, which gave us time to explore the city. We partied, but I had already had my fill of New Orleans, or Nolans, sorry, once again. And being young, I didn't drink like I do now.
Which is weird. Oh, that's such a weird statement.
It's a weird thing to throw in there, yeah. Back then, I didn't drink nearly as heavily as I do now.
But I'm a pro now.
That's true.
I even got half a liver.
Hell yeah. My buddy, whose birthday was on St. Patrick's Day, got really drunk and argumentative, insisting that I learn to make my own camp. He said we would see each other in the morning, so I went out to wander the city and find my own camp.
What's this friend going to do at his camp all by himself?
I bet you could come up with some ideas. Probably a little pervert.
He's a serial killer.
Oh, there's that too, I guess. 2 different directions we took that. The next morning, he stumbled into Ellis Square with bloody cheeks and swollen shut eyes, cursing at the other homeless kids I had been hanging out with, smoking weed. Even if they had been the ones who did it, he was in no shape to keep fighting. The kids I was with gave him some liquor to sanitize his mouth and drink while I figured out what to do and unsuccessfully tried to convince him to go to the hospital. After some time, I started hearing about what had happened at the camp the night before and that people wanted us out of the city.
I feel like I would like to know what happened at the camp the night before.
I also would like to know what happened at the camp before. It doesn't sound like a good time for this gentleman, though, but it's also kind of on him because he was like, you need to go make your own camp. And he gets his ass whooped overnight where he probably wished he had some backup at that point.
Right, and he probably started the crap by having that attitude.
He does seem like he's a little bit of a sourpuss, and that's fine.
I lived on these streets my entire life. I want to be by myself.
After some time, I started hearing about what had happened at the camp the night before.
What had happened?
What had happened was, and that people wanted us out of the city. My friend was still belligerent, and I quickly realized that it was time for me to take the lead of our little party of 2. After some Googling, I decided to try stitching his mouth up from the inside myself with dental floss and the smallest sewing needle I could find in Ellis Square. We had a whole bit on this in the last read-through. It feels forced to send it through again, so we're not going to do that. But you guys know us. Imagine what we'd say.
I'm going to say it again. Like, what the hell, man? A sewing needle for stitches.
Probably a little rusty.
Also, how do you get it in there if it's inside the mouth? Because
You just got to shove your hands right inside.
because stitching, when actual needles for stitches are different shapes
That's
depending
true.
on where it is on your body.
Hopefully it's like in the front area.
Yeah,
Imagine
hopefully.
if it's like back here. He's got like, I got to shove both of my hands into your mouth. You like that? Huh? And he's like, what the hell are you doing? What is this man doing to my mouth right now? And other stories.
Also, for your information, you don't always have to pay I don't even know what it is now. It was like 3 something back last time I had stitches to take them out. So it's probably like $600 to take them out. Just take them out yourself.
Yeah, be a man or a woman.
Or have a friend that's a nurse like I've had a few times. Take these out for me.
Turns out that also helps.
Yeah.
Give that a go. You know? Anyway, anyone who knows that basically every dirty kid has a sewing kit. I felt pretty confident in dirty kids have sewing kits, man. You didn't know that? That's common knowledge. Every single dirty kid has a sewing kit, right?
I've never seen a dirty kid with a sewing kit.
How many dirty kids are you hanging around?
I mean, I guess maybe dirty kids is a phrase you use for
the hobos?
Yeah.
The homeless?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be.
I don't know
I don't think there's many homeless. Well, you know what? Actually, there might be. We might have some homeless watchers or listeners.
Who knows?
But apologies for that.
I don't know what to. Is it hobos? Hobos doesn't seem like the right word, but I guess
also doesn't sound very like offensive. You know.
I think it was back in the day, though.
This second take is a lot more nitty gritty than the first one. I'm finding out.
Yeah.
Some hot water, perhaps, from the homeless community. I felt pretty confident in my finished job and decided my friend needed sleep before we attempted to hitchhike north to Ashland, North Carolina in the morning. I was still young and took the empty threats of random homeless people seriously, but figured we might as well try to enjoy what we came for. As the day went on and tourists started filling the city streets, money, food, and booze started filling my hands and pockets. The vibe of the day became much more enjoyable, like the party I was expecting. At some point, I found a place to camp, which is hard in downtown Savannah, Georgia. Anywhere with trees is a pretty far walk, which sucks when you're drunk and exhausted. The next morning, breakfast was definitely in order before our trek, so I went back to Ellis Square while my friend slept in to find us some food and money. Some people were out and about. A guy with 2 girls approached me asking for a picture because the girls said we looked alike. And we did! He looked like an older version of me who went to college and became a frat boy. After some chit-chat, he asked my name, and when I told him, he said, "No way, that's mine too." He looked at me a little closer and asked my last name. When I told him that, he started yelling at the girls, who were a bit uncomfortable with me being obviously homeless, about our names and to get a better picture with our state identification cards out. He pulled his out, which was from a different state than mine, and I pulled mine out. We found out we had the same first, middle, and last names, and the same birthday, but about 10 years apart. After taking a quick picture of our IDs, he was obviously extremely uncomfortable. After humoring him for about 15 minutes, I thought it would be fair to ask him to buy me and my sleeping friend some breakfast. But he handed my ID back, took one more glance at me and said, "Nah, I have to go." Then took off with the girls. I'm writing this almost 10 years later, and my life is nothing like that guy's. I spent the majority of the last 10 years homeless, somehow managed to settle down in the last year or so. I found an amazing girlfriend, 2 dogs, and our own place with 3 acres even. Still though, really weird. Ah, yes.
Weird on many levels.
Many levels indeed.
First off, dirty kids. That's
gross.
weird.
Dirty kids, pretty gross.
Give them kids a bath. If you're their parents. If you're not their parents, don't give them a bath. That's weird.
Entering some very strange territory here on this episode, I'm finding. But that's fine.
Do you have an explanation for this?
I have nothing. I literally have nothing. No, I actually don't. I mean, because it's not like a full-on doppelganger story. Like they look alike, but clearly same names, same even birthdays, but 10 years apart.
Does it make you wonder, like maybe certain dates you come out looking a certain way? What if that's the case? What if the reason we believe in like maybe doppelgangers is because people that are born at a certain time tend to have similar traits, may look alike sometimes. What if that's everybody born on November 10th has a certain look to them. November 15th, a different look. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's weird that it happens regardless.
Yeah.
You know?
Biology's weird sometimes. But it also...
What if they're related? You know?
That could be too.
I mean, it'd be weird that the parents would name them the same thing.
I was in the store, I think it was last week, and a guy came in, and I looked over at my coworker, and I'm like, hey, meet you. Because it was the exact same name, same middle initial.
Yeah.
I won't use his name because I didn't like the other guy. He was I'm a hustler.
He's a hustler?
Like when he talking about business and stuff. I went and bought this in Anchorage and sold it for this much 15 minutes later in Anchorage. And I'm like,
15 minutes, huh? Wow.
Yeah, it was like a jacuzzi or something. I was like, dude, stop bragging.
Yeah. And number one, weird brag.
Yeah.
Very weird brag. No one's impressed by your jacuzzi sales, I promise you.
Yeah. We were just more impressed by the fact that you guys have the exact same name.
Yeah. That was beginning and end of where the impression came off.
Yeah. If you have to tell me you're a hustler, as the old saying goes, you're no true hustler.
And this guy knows hustler.
Yeah. My childhood. Teenage years.
Okay. Well, now we got all that out of the way. How about, I don't know where to go from that. Christian, what was your favorite story of the episode? Was it the one you heard twice, maybe?
That one was pretty, I feel like I liked that one only because it's weird, but also I got a look at a different part of,
Georgia.
Just the way people experience the world differently than me, which is always fascinating to me.
Sure.
Kind of, I'm just a nerd, so I like to see how people experience the world.
It does check out.
Even if it's a vagabond existence that I would never be able to handle.
Hell yeah. Yep, I don't think I could do it either. It's not for me.
I don't even like camping that much, so.
It's really not that great.
Yeah, I mean, It's fun to see the things, but I also like to sleep.
Yeah, nobody wants to sleep on the hard ground, okay? Do you have a camper? Then that's not really technically camping. I'm sorry. You're just sleeping in a different location in a smaller house.
Yeah, that big-ass trailer that some of our friends have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're judging you from afar.
Heather.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was nice.
Didn't notice, right?
It was nice.
I honestly don't remember.
I remember
Actually, I vaguely remember that now, yeah.
The bathroom was better than the public one.
I bet that checks out for a lot of campers.
Yeah.
Now we got that out of the way.
But also, if you own one of those, you have to go camping a lot. And sometimes I just want to chill at home.
Maybe you can just use that as an extra room and just go chill in the camper. Solutions. We found them. Folks, that's enough about us. What was your favorite story from the episode? Have you ever seen a doppelganger of yourself? Or of someone that you care about? Or even better, someone that you can't stand?
That would be horrifying.
That would be like, oh, damn, there's two of them. Be sure to comment below. And yeah, you can tell it's been a while since we recorded Sleep with the Lights On because I do not know how to close this out. Remember, friends, sleep with the lights on because you never know what is lurking in the shadows.
Demons.
There are some demons, it turns out.
And doppelgangers. Homeless doppelgangers.
Homeless doppelgangers.
Be scared.
Hey, look at that. Merch for a podcast about ghosts and crap. It's pretty neat. Hey, what a treat. Support the show and rock some swag. If kids are still saying stuff like that, we love you. What a weird song. Buy a t-shirt or TFT thong. Just kidding about that last part, but it's funny all the same. I think the song's over. I'm going insane.